Hello, you beautiful infinite beings, right onto your path of exploring the infinite, your infinite potential, your infinite truth, and ultimately your infinite self. Thank you for tuning in today's video, in which I'll be speaking about the power of creating your own reality, that is, attraction and manifestation. Before anything, my intention with this video is not to provide you with the same information that everyone, the majority of people, are speaking of when they talk about, the law of attraction or manifestation and so on. Because let's be honest, there's an immense amount of books, videos, and all sorts of media that tries to convey the idea of the law of attraction, manifestation, being the creator of your own reality, and so on. And therefore, my intention is to rather provide you with the general framework on how the basis of attraction and manifestation actually works, to rather give you a base understanding of how this process plays out, within the fibers of existence, how the whole process of being the creator of your reality, of attracting and manifesting as you live, works out in an energetic form before it actually manifests, and how then it translates into this 3D manifestation. And with that, you're going to understand that you can maneuver your way around this process by, in plenty of ways, because there isn't just one way. It's not just like steps that you need to follow or an ideology that you need to harbor, and then it's going to take you to that destination that you'd like, or to that life experience. It's never that way. It's never linear. Nothing about these kind of topics is linear in any sense. Nothing about spirituality is linear, about this energetic higher reality, the meta reality, metaverses. It's never a linear process. There's plenty of ways, just like, and that's even evident by the fact that not only a specific group of people are able to attract and manifest, or people who hold a specific value or specific belief systems, or belong to a specific group or communities. This is really unrelated. There's barely any relation, although there could be some correlation, with being spiritual and being able, but in a sense that's a very unaffecting factor into the general process. And by understanding this base, by understanding what I'm gonna say through this video, you're gonna understand how come, and that's why you can see that evil people can even be manifesting whatever their desired reality is, and bad people in a general sense. It doesn't have to be a specific person. In the same manner that not all spiritual people are good people. Having a spiritual awakening have nothing to do with, awakening compassion or goodness, or it's just understanding things in a specific manner and seeing things for what they are, and going through a specific process, and then you get a spiritual awakening. You go through a process of a spiritual awakening, but that does not simultaneously make you good, or noble, or so on. And so let's agree that everything starts out as energy, that everything is actually just energy in its essence. Even our forms, this is not, we were broken down to atoms, and these atoms are broken down to even smaller particles that vibrate at a specific frequency, and this vibration makes out this 3D form. And the same with every solid object around us, and every tangible or even intangible object, because with neuroscience, the modern sciences, they've realized that even thoughts, emotions, they start out as energy. basically. And even, and they maintain this energy, and the specific thoughts and specific emotions harbor specific frequencies. And so therefore, to begin with, one simply cannot be the creator of anything. In actuality, you cannot be the creator of your own reality, or be able to manifest your attractions as you go, if the majority of our life force, the majority of our energy, is consumption based. If you spend the majority of our efforts, actions, thoughts, emotions, and all of these immense energies, if we always investing them in consuming things, in using up things to feel in a certain way, or to think in a certain way, just like with binging on entertainment of all kinds, watching, just surfing the internet, or eating, to feel good, to get that dopamine rush, or just, aimlessly hanging out with people, or partying the whole time, or, just being consuming, being a consumer. You cannot really, and contrary to the production energy, to building up that creative energy within you. Because this production energy, in which you start actually thinking in a way that makes you work on something to produce the outcome you want. This is in itself a small forced manifestation process, but in reality what it does, is that it builds up that energy, it builds up that momentum that drives you towards being a manifesting creative reality in a sense. And so once this consumption, I'm not gonna go into the details of how, of what sorts of actions, or what sorts of life you should be leading in order to build up this consumption energy, to build up this production energy, this creative energy within you, that's gonna lead towards being able to manifest and attract your reality, your desired life experiences. Because that's a whole different topic on its own. And there's even several ways to actually build up this energy. It could be the good old way, in which you put in the effort, you put in the mental sacrifice, the physical sacrifice, work hard, and focus on a specific thing for consistently for a long time, for a certain period of time, and you're gonna yield the outcome. Be open to failing a few times, one time or more, and then keep up with it for a certain period of time, and then you're eventually going to manifest the desired outcome. But by my aim, as I said here, is to explain how the whole process works in an energetic form, in the energetic reality. And so by understanding this, and by understanding that everything is energy, and that we need to build up this momentum in the form, it does not, this production energy, this creative energy, it does not have to be within the same field of what we're trying to attract and manifest. It could be just, we just need this kind of energy flowing within us, in order to be representing creation in any sense, at least. And depending on this amount of energy, this dictates the outcome, the intensity, the amount of your manifesting experience. And that's why anyone could really be doing this. It's not necessarily people with good intentions, or so on and so forth. And so once this productive creative energy has been established, we need to work on alignment. And this, my friends, is a major key towards attraction and manifestation, being in alignment. And that is, I'm not even gonna really talk about alignment, because the ultimate form of alignment is, being one in everything that has to do with you, being one in your emotions, in your thoughts, in what you're saying, in what you're how you're acting, and in everything, in how you're living, in who you surround yourself with, and where you're living. This perhaps is the perfect image of alignment. But in a sense, you need to attract. Once you have this energy, you now have the capability of attracting, of manifesting. The attraction could be going on the whole time, in your higher energetic field, as Abraham Hicks actually calls it, in your vortex. You're always building that momentum into your vortex towards this attraction. It's building up, it's building up, it's building up, waiting for the right moment to manifest. And this right moment really depends on when everything becomes aligned and create the perfect opportunity for this thing to manifest into the 3D reality. And how this works is, let me give you a small example here. So let's assume that someone is trying to manifest $1 million or a million anything. It's this is like the most basic example. And but in reality, they have bad spending habits, or they have very expensive indulging habits, that they have. Once they have any kind of money, they're right away spending everything, and they're losing all that they've gained. It means that they cannot really be aligned with that outcome, with that $1 million, because even if they get them, they won't maintain them. And it's a loop that's not gonna work. And this is why you could be held back from actually manifesting some things. And the way alignment works isn't everything. As I said, your emotions should be aligned with your thoughts, should be aligned with your actions, should be aligned with your words towards that thing you're trying to manifest. And then will it only be possible to manifest for it. So let's assume that you're trying to work on a project, to achieve some kind of project, to open a business, let's say. But then you have a major problem with dealing with problems. Whenever a problem occur in your life, you collapse, and you just you fall back, and you become petrified and stagnant. You're not able to continue the process. You're not able to go through the experience every time a problem happens. But then what you're trying to attract, that this business idea, for example, this plan that you're trying to manifest, once it manifests, there's going to be several problems that comes with it, because anything comes with its own type of problems. And when these problems arise, then if you're gonna fall back, if you're gonna completely collapse and jeopardize the whole thing, then there isn't really any kind of alignment going on here. And so it won't be manifested. But what will happen is that you're gonna, if you keep envisioning, if you keep on attracting this thing, in a sense, by envisioning it, by feeling it, and people usually focus a lot on the concept of visualizing. I don't really think that you have to visualize a specific thing, and that's why you don't really need to be very specific about, you don't really need to know all the details about how you don't have to figure it out, about what's gonna make you feel good, or about what's gonna make you content or anything. People usually, when they speak about the law of attraction, they focus, be specific, be very specific, be very, very specific. And while that may be of great help, it's not really a direct enhancing process, but it rather works on enhancing the emotions, the thoughts, the feelings, and these things are what actually drive the manifesting process. It's not really because you're imagining the situation, because when you're imagining the situation, it's gonna arise within you more accurate emotions, and when those emotions rise within you in accuracy, the more accurate, the more you're gonna be able to manifest them with accuracy. If you're thinking, okay, I don't know, do I want to be feel happy or successful? Are they the same? What are the differences? So if you're not very clear onto that, by imagining the thing itself, by visualizing the exact thing itself with all its specifics, then it's gonna arise the attributed emotion, whether it's success or happiness, and by that you're gonna be able to manifest your desired reality more accurately. But if you already know what emotions you want to be aligned with, what feelings, what thoughts, what kind of person, what kind of experience, it doesn't have to be specific in any sense, just how you wish to be feeling moving forward. What is it that you, in a general sense, that and imagine and visualize all its emotions and all its fallbacks, and then work on aligning yourself with those things. So now when you align the emotions, the manifestation is gonna occur. When you're completely energetically aligned on the same frequency of this emotion you want to feel moving forward, it does not have, because even if you're trying to visualize a specific scenario with all its details, because you're imagining that you're gonna feel those specific emotions through it, it could come in a completely different form, but it's because it's gonna work on those emotions. It's gonna give you those emotions rather than the specific outcome itself, the specific experience itself, because it knows better yourself, your subconscious, the divine energy, the fabrics. They know better what's gonna make you feel what, because usually our perspectives are tainted with lots of inorganic things, and that's why it doesn't necessarily have to be accurate. So the thing is, but now what if you're not aligned? If you're not aligned, but you keep envisioning this thing, you keep dreaming and craving this thing so deeply from your core, but then you keep doing something that's keeping you out of alignment with this thing, what you're actually attracting here is a whole third scenario, is a completely other experience that is gonna teach you how to be in alignment with that initial thing you're trying to manifest. And this is the whole thing about cycles and patterns, because the more you keep on the momentum building, the more the cycles are gonna repeat. So, and it depends on which repetition it is, it dictates the intensity of the lesson that's being taught. And I'm not necessarily saying that there's someone out there watching and moving it, giving you this lesson to learn here, and then taking this thing to learn this or that. It's all really actually happening within yourself, within this energy. Because if you're building too much energy towards one thing, but then by your actions are pulling this from this energy towards a different thing, towards the contrary, then your fabrics, your divine, your intelligent, infinite self creates this from within you, creates this process of, because that's what you're actually desiring, because this is your true desire, is that third experience, because you're desiring one thing, but then you deep down in your subconscious, in your core energy center, it's already recorded that you fall back when this thing happened. So what you're really desiring is that you do not fall back, that you do not collapse when you encounter this problem, in order to be able to achieve that kind of success with that business or that project. So you're actually trying to attracting and manifesting something completely different, and that's where people think that they go wrong. But you always hear the thing that whatever, that's where it's coming from, by the way, that whatever you're going through, it's meant to be, because exactly, it's meant to be. You're attracting it for a specific reason, for very specific, but it's unaware to you, it's unconscious to you. That's the thing, and that's, by the way, that goes with everything, in very small things, in the little details. You're walking creator of your life, but it's unconscious to a very great degree, that it's barely that you cannot even notice that you are the creator in any sense. That's how unconscious we've been. That's how subconsciously we're completely different entities from what we are consciously. And so therefore, this third experience you're going to attract is gonna teach you, is gonna try to be something that tells you, okay, you're gonna go, you have a problem and you have to deal with it, so deal with it. You have to be fully present, you have to be fully there, you have to put the effort in dealing with it. Don't You cannot, it's not. And as I said, depending on the number of repetition, the amount of cycles you've already been going through, the amount of time you've been trying to attract, building that momentum towards this initial attraction of yours, but you're not actually aligning yourself, but you're keeping the momentum. So it depends on which cycle that you've been going through of this repetition for this lesson, for this specific lesson, yourself is trying to teach you. As I said, it's going to dictate the intensity. So it might make you completely agonized at times, and that's why, even though when things are going bad, we should not be unappreciative or lose our initial sincerity and motives and genuinity, and be consistent, and be full of trust and belief and gratitude that everything is going as we are wanting it to go. And so through that experience, it could be something that completely puts your back to the wall, towards the wall. You're jammed. There's no way but to deal with this problem and accept it, and move forward even when you're failing, when you're having a problem. And so this is the magic of how things work. And this is, by the way, just a very general framework. It's not there. As I said, there are plenty of ways and there's plenty of methods, but once you understand it from the energetic point of view, that there is a tug of war between, in a sense, between attractions, and that's why you keep attracting something else. And then you feel yourself moving away, but you're actually moving closer. But then, because you're thinking that you're moving away, so the momentum from within you, the beliefs that you instill within your subconscious, actually takes you away from this initial attraction. But if you remain focused, if you remain consistent, if you have this devotion and unrivaled commitment, and keep pushing forward, you're eventually going to attract whatever that is, manifest it actually. Because and that's how anything works, by the way. If there's nothing, this is in a general sense a pattern in the whole universe. If there isn't a sacrifice, in a sense, you're not gonna get anything in return. Like, you have to go through some kind of risk, you have to put in a sacrifice. In the most basic form is like, you have to carry out your responsibilities and tasks in order to get paid. For example, something from a different perspective, people who skydive, for example, they have to go through an unprecedented fear when they take this first jump, for the first few seconds, but then turns out into the most pure bliss they've had for their entire lives. One of the best experiences they go through, for example. And this, in a similar manner with all extreme sports. And if you just observe it, you're gonna notice that it's a general pattern that's existing everywhere in the universe. And that's why, that's also part of the process. Okay, you want to change your ancestral path, you want to do something different, you're envisioning, you're trying to attract this whole completely different thing. Okay, so, but you're not ready. Can you be ready without any preparations? Of course not in the majority of cases, and everyone goes through this. We all have to go through this, but you just have to know that it's this. You have to be observant of what part to track, what part of what phase of the whole experience you're in, what part of the story you're going through now, which okay, so, and by understanding that, you can maneuver. Okay, so I now need to change this aspect in order to align with this thing, but then this third thing is going to arise, so I have to be careful not to let that third feeling of negativity that still is going to push me even further from my initial manifestation. I have to keep I have to take care not to let it arise within me subconsciously, because that's what we are. Everything we encounter experiences, and then we're affected in a certain way without our noticing. If we're not conscious, if we're not really committed to being conscious, to living a conscious life. And that's basically how attraction and manifestation works. It's not really the most detailed thing, but in a general sense, it gives you a good idea and how you can go around and play around, meddle with it in your own way, in all kind of ways, in order to reach your desired reality. And with that, if you like the content, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Have a good